Today we are going to see the basic 10 lessons or 10 takeaways that we need to take from the Toby Robbins book Awakening is a Giant, right? So the first takeaway that we need to take from this book is what the first one is: control of your life. Taking control of your life. How we are going to take care of or take control of our life. The first step to just take control of your life is just self-awareness, being aware of yourself. That means just begin by just assessing your current life situations, right? And you can also just increase your self-awareness by just identifying areas where you feel out of just control and just examine your thoughts and the feeling about those areas, right? By this you can aware yourself. And the second way that we can take control of our life is what? Responsibility. I'm being responsible to the life that we are living. That means just you have to accept that you are responsible for your response to external events, right? The situation or whatever the thing happened to you, you are responsible. You have to aware this, right? And you have to recognize that blaming others or maybe the circumstance or the situation, the environment are just disempowers you, right? They take power from you, right? When you just blame somebody else or the people or the situation or the environment, whatever it is, right? You are just giving away or empowering yourself, right? So you have to be responsible enough for the life that you are living to take control of your life, right? The third step that help us to take control of our life is what? Mindset shift, right? The mindset shift. That means you have to practice positive affirmation and self-talk to just reinforce your ability to control your thoughts and your emotions, right? That is how you are going to shift your mindset, right? Self-talk, right? By self-affirmation, you have to positively affirm your mind to behave in certain patterns, right? So when you rewire your brain by just talking a lot about your mind, right? You can rewire, you can affirm yourself with a positive thought, right? By talking to yourself every day, all day long, right? By doing that, you can affirm yourself to be inspired, to be feel good, right? You have to talk a lot about yourself when you are alone, right? You can program your mind by yourself by just self-talk, right? Alone, right? The fourth point that help us to take control of your life is what? Decision making, or the ability to decide. That is, you have to make a decision or conscious decisions to take charge of your life, right? Taking just or having a conscious decision is right that make you to be able to control your life, right? So set small achievable goals to build confidence. You have to set the more just achievable goals to build your confidence. You have to start small, and by just deciding small thing, you can build up your confidence, right? Then that small things, small decisions add up and compounded, that becomes just bigger and bigger, right? Small things add up, becomes a lot, right? So always decide, even if they are smaller, right? The fifth point that help us to take control of your life is what? Action plan, right? Make action plan. That means develop a plan to address areas where you want to make or you want to take more control, right? You have to have the action plan, the goal, right? You have to set a goal. You have to just have a planning is really important. So you have to just break down it into a more specific and the more actionable way or steps to do some work, to take some action, right? That is the sixth point that help us to take control of our life is what? Consistently practice every day, all day long, right? That means you have to regularly review your progress and you have to adjust your strategies as needed. You have to evaluate yourself, right? And also you have to constantly doing something that you love to do, or consistently what doing the action, the goal that you want to see in some point of your future time, right? So because constant is the key to maintaining control over time, right? So consistent is the key for any success, right? If you are not consistent, you never have the chance to being able to get or reach the success that you really want to have. So consistency, patience, all that ingredients are really important for the personality that you really want to have, the goal that you want to achieve, and all the things that you really want comes through consistently acting towards them, right? So the second takeaway that we need to take from this book, right, Awakening Again from by Toby Robbins, is what set compelling goals. Having a clear and compelling goal, that's really important, right? So the first step that help us to set a compelling goal is what? Vision creation, right? Vision creation. What does mean vision creation, right? Visualize your ideal life in detail, right? You have to picture the life that you really want in your mind. You got to see, right, all the time, all day long, right? That is just vision creation, right? Image creation in your mind, right? So imagine what you want to achieve and how it feel, right, at some point of time, right? You have to see what you feel before you reach there, right? When you achieve your goal, what experience that you want to feel, what type of just experience that you want to have. You have to just understand that before you're gonna achieve all the thing, right? So the second takeaway that we can take from this setting compelling goal, or that help us to set a compelling goal, is what? Smart goals, right? The first one is what? Vision creation. Second one is smart goals, right? Smart goals means what? Set a goals that are what? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bounded, right? Your goal must be measurable, it must be specific, it must be achievable, it must be relevant, it must be what? Specific, right? All these ingredients are really important for the goal, right? If your goal is missing one of these ingredients, it may not be achieved. It's really difficult to achieve the goal, right? For example, if your goal is not measurable, you don't have just a chance to know when you are going to achieve that goal, right? So it may take a longer time to achieve your goals, right? So your goal must be measurable, specific, and achievable, relevant, and time bounded as much as possibly can, right? But time bounded means the time may not be perfect, but what? Approachable, approximate time. You got to take that. And the third point that help us to set a compelling goal is what? Prioritization. You have to prioritize, right? Because in life there are some things that take or that are very essential. There are some things that are not much essential. That means you have to prioritize those things, whether it is a must or a should, right? So that means what? Prioritize your goals based on what? Their importance and urgency, right? Some are urgent, some are important, some are not urgent, some are not important. So there are different goals that or action that you want to take, so you have to prioritize those as their urgency and as their importance, right? So you have to focus on one major goal at a time to avoid or overwhelming or getting busy, right? So focus on one goal, then when you finish that goal, just go to the second. When you just finish the scan, go to the third, like this, right? Don't just jump from one task to another, right? That's not really help us to achieve your goals, right? So the fourth point that we need to take from this or the point that help us to set a compelling goal or having goal is what? Action step. Once you just have a vision, create a vision, once you have just smart goal, once you prioritize, you have to what? Have an action plan or action step, right? That means you have to break down each goals into smaller, manageable tasks and create a timeline for completing such tasks, right? That's really very important. The fifth point that help us to set a compelling goal is what? Accountability, being accountable, right? For the plan that you are having, or the prioritize the smart this goal and the visions that you have. You are responsible, you are accountable, right? You have to share your goals with trusted friends, mentors, or coach who can hold you accountable, right? That make you just make you accountable enough, right? Once you told your goals to somebody else who you trust, that just help us to become more and more accountable for that action, right? And yeah, you have to just have a mentor. That's the main advantage of a mentorship, right? Once you have a mentor, it just make you more accountable, right? That's the only difference, having a mentor and having, right? So that is so the sixth point that help us to have just a competing goal is what? Review and adjust as needed, right? Because once the goals that you are having, or the plan that you are setting, it may not be all the same, right? It may be vary, it may be depend on the situations, different circumstances may just interfere, right? So you have to just review as needed, right? You have to review and adjust your goals as needed, right? So regular review your progress towards your goals and adjust your action plan as necessary towards or to stay on track, right? That's really important. So the third takeaway that we need to take from this book, the awakenings gained, is what? Change your life. Change your life. How are we gonna just change our life? The first step that help us to just change our life is what? First, identify limiting beliefs, right? You have to identify the limitations that you have, right? So you have to reflect on areas where you feel what? Stuck, or maybe unfulfilled, or you may identify beliefs that may be holding you back, right? What are the limitations that you are holding back? You have to identify those things and you have to write down on the paper clearly, and once you understand them, you can have the chance to what? Break them down, or you have the chance to eliminate all those limitations, right? So then once you limit the limitation, you become limitless, right? So the second point that help us to change your life is what? Challenge beliefs, right? Once you identify the limiting belief, you have to challenge them, right? You have to challenge the limiting belief that you have. You have to question the validity of these beliefs, whether they are valid or not, whether they are helping us to achieve your goals or not. You have to identify those limiting beliefs and you have to challenge them as much as you possibly can. And just you have to ask yourself if they are based on fact or maybe assumptions, right? Because those beliefs maybe came from society, right? The limitation of environment. Those beliefs may come through just the way you develop, right? The way you are when you are were a child, you may program those beliefs, right? Those wrong beliefs, right? You have to ask whether they are valid or not. You have to ask whether they are fact or assumptions, right? You have to identify them. Then the third point that help us to change your life is once you identify, you have to, once you challenge, you have to replace beliefs, right? Replacing beliefs, that means you have to create a new empowering, inspiring belief to just replace the old ones, right? Once you just challenge them, you have to replace those limitation or those bad beliefs, right? You have to write them down and read them daily, right? Those new habits must be remember all day long, right? You have to write them down and you have to read them aloud, right? The fourth point that help us to change our life is what? Reinforcement. All right, once you replace a new good, inspiring, empowering belief, you have to just reinforce them, right? Reinforcing those new beliefs, right? Developing those new belief system. That's really important. That means use positive affirmation and visualization technique to reinforce your new belief, right? So reinforcing, use positive affirmation and visualization technique for or to reinforce your new beliefs. That's really important. So the fifth point that help us to change our life or our habit is what? Behavioral alignment. You have to align those beliefs to your life, right? You have to adjust those new beliefs to the life that you're really living, right? That means you have to act in a way that align with your new beliefs, right? And you have to practice behaviors that support your new mindset, right? That is so. The 6 points that help us to change our life is what? Support system. Support system is very important. That means surround yourself with people who reinforce your new beliefs and encourage your growth, right? You have to dominate yourself with the people who loves, who supports, who encourages you, right? Never just surround yourself with those are hating you, those are letting you down all the time, this tearing your behaviors. Don't just do that, right? Just always surround yourself with a positive belief and that the people that inspire you and the environments that enable you to achieve the success that you really want, the goals that you really have, right? That is the only way you go through life with what? Immense power. So the fourth takeaway that we need to take from this awakenings again book is what? Master your emotion. You have to master your emotion. You have to take control of your emotion. The first step that help us to just master your emotion is what? Emotional awareness. First, you have to aware anything that you want to just remove or want to use strengths, right? You have to aware your emotion, whether your emotion is good or bad. This you have to aware yourself. That means develop awareness of your emotional triggers and responses. Keep just an emotion journal to track patterns, right? You have to understand your awareness, how you behave when something happens, right? You have to understand all that emotional triggers and the response that you are doing, right? You have to conscious on the unconscious feeling, right, that you have, right? So the second step that help us to master emotion is what? Mindfulness, being mindful. That means you have to practice mindfulness teaching or techniques to stay present and just observe your emotions without judgment, without judging your emotion. You have to mindful, right? You have to see yourself, how you behave in certain way, right? How you behave when something happens. You have to just take a look your emotion. Just you have to be mindful. You have to be present on to understand the emotion that you have, right? Mindfulness is very very important. Then the third step that help us to master emotion is what? Emotional regulation, right? Emotional regulation. That means you have to learn strategies to manage your emotions, such as maybe deep breathing, maybe meditation, maybe cognitive reframing, or whatever the techniques that you are going to use. You have to just learn the strategies and develop or manage your emotion. That's really important. So the fourth point that help us to master emotion is what? Healthy expression. Healthy expressions. That means you have to find healthy outlets for expressing your emotions, such as talking to a friend, writing, or engaging in creative activities is really important, right? So the fifth point that help us to just master your emotion is what? Positive focus, right? Have a positive focus. That means you have to shift your focus to positive experience and emotion. You have to practice gratitude and positive visualization, right? Always stay positive, right? That is. So the 6 points that help us to master emotion is what? Emotional resilience, right? Emotional resilience. That means you have to build resilience by facing challenge head on and learn from setback. You have to challenge the emotions that you have, right? You have to learn. You have to just challenge them. You have to face them, to because once you face them more and more, what you develop a resilience, you develop just the patterns, how you're gonna behave when something triggers you, right? That is. So the fifth takeaway that we need to take from this book is what? Model success. You have to model the success. That means you have to, the first step that help us to model the success is what? Identify role models. What or who will be your role model? You have to understand that. That means you have to find individuals maybe who have just achieved the success you aspire to, or the success that you want to achieve, right? You have to research them. You have to you gotta find those people who achieve the success that you want, right? Because there are a lot of people who achieve success or the things that you want before you, so you can model them and you can understand, you can research, you can learn from them, and then you can model them, really, right? So you have to research their stories and the strategies they have used to overcome those things, to how they became, how they came succeed, right? You got to just learn from them, understand them, all that is model that you're gonna have. Then the second step that help us to model success is what? Analyze strategies. You have to analyze, understand the strategies that you're gonna use, right? So you have to study their behavior, their habit, and their mindset, right? For their success, the successful people mindset, the successful people behavior, the successful people habits, right? You have to understand, you have to learn from them, right? That's analyzing strategies, right? So you have to identify key factors that contribute to their success. What are the ingredients that the successful people have done, right? What are the ingredients that successful people just did to become such successful people? That is. Then you have to analyze, then what the third step that help us to model success is emulate behaviors. Emulating the behaviors, that means you have to implement similar strategies in your own life and adapt your methods to fit your unique circumstance. You have to emulate their behavior to your life, right? So the fourth step that help us to model success is what? Mentorship. Having a mentor. That means if possible, just seek mentorship or guidance from your role models, right? If you have the chance to get those successful people, you can model them, you can help them to mentor you. They become the mentor for you, right? If it's possible, right? So they may guide you, right? So learn directly from their experience. Learn just, or approach them and learn from them. That's really important. So the fifth step or point that help us to model success is what? Continuously learning. Continuous learning is really important, right? Stay updated on their latest achievement and adjustment, right? And yeah, you have to apply new insights to your own journey, right? That's important. So the sixth point that help us to model success also is what? Reflect and adapt. Reflection and adapting is really important. That means you have to regularly reflect on your progress, maybe at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month. Maybe you may have the chance to reflect on the journey that you have taken before. So and also you have to adapt successful strategies to your evolving goals, right? So the sixth takeaway that we take from this book, right, is take massive action. This is the most important thing. Take massive action. Right? Once you understand intellectually, once you understand them theoretically, you get to have this massive action. You have to take action. Unless you take action, nothing will happen. Just once you take action, right, you start the process. You are starting the progress, right? That means the steps that help us to take action, take massive action, is what? The first one is goal breakdown. You have to break down the goals that you have listed before. That means break your goals down in smaller actionable steps, right? And also you have to create a detailed action plan, right? Having a detailed action plan. So the second point that help us to take a massive action is daily action, small daily action, right? Commit to taking daily action towards your goals, no matter how small it is, right? Consistency is a key, right? Consistently act towards your goal, even if it is small, right? That is really important. So the third point that help us to have a massive action is what? Time management. That is a critical. Time management is life management, right? So time management is activity management. That means you use effective time management technique to prioritize tasks and avoid procrastination. Yes, once you just manage your time, you stop procrastinating, you stop just wasting your time, wasting your life, and you can use techniques to prioritize tasks, right? The fourth point that help us to take massive action is what? Eliminate distraction, right? Yeah, you got to eliminate distractions, right? Identify and eliminate distractions that hinders your progress and create a focused work environment. Eliminate distractions. You got to have just a time management that help us to eliminate distraction. Identify, eliminate distractions that hinders your progress. Create a focused work environment, right? At least 6 hours per day, right? And the fifth point that help us to have a massive action is what? Track progress. Tracking progress is very important. Tracking progress is very important, right? You have to just keep track of your action in progress, right? And use tools like journals, spreadsheet, or apps to monitor your achievable, right? You can use Google app, right? I mean that calendar app to track your action, right? To journal your action. And the sixth point that help us to just take a massive action, what? Celebrate milestone. Celebrate small achievement. Having small achievement, right, means you have to celebrate small victories along the way, right? Even it's small, just celebrate it, right? So recognizing progress boosts motivation and reinforce positive behavior, right? The seventh step or seven takeaway that we need to take from this awakening the Gantt book is what? Develop resourcefulness. Not finding a resource, developing being resourcefulness, right? That means how we gonna just become resourceful. The first one is problem solving skill. Having the skill to solve problem is the problem of others, the problem of society, the problems of your family, the problem of whatever it is, right? Just develop the skill to develop problem, right? Develop problem solving skill, right? Enhance your problem solving skill by challenging yourself with new and complex tasks. That's really important. The second step is what? Creativity. Being creative, right? That means foster creativity through brainstorming sections, exploring new hobbies, and engaging in a creative activities. That's really beyond, right? So the third point that help us to develop resourcefulness is what? Networking. Having a good network, having a good relationship with people, that boosts yourself, your life, right? That means just build a network of supportive and resourceful individuals, learn from their experience and insights, right? That's really important, right? Having a good network, what? You can, from that network, you can do a lot of work with that network. You can make a team and just have a organization or a good team to do something within the network, right? So networking is very, very important. It is the number one skill, networking, right? Having a good network is really important. So the other points, the fourth point is adaptability. Being adaptable to the situations, right? So that means practice being adaptable and open to change, right? And also you have to embrace new opportunities and learn to pivot when necessary, right? You have to adaptable enough, you have to flexible enough. When necessary, you can pivot, right? So and you have to maximize the use of available resource. When whatever the resource that you have, you got to use that for good. This fifth point that help us to become resourceful is resource utilization. Utilizing the resource that you have in your hand right now. Right? That means you have to maximize the use of available resources and look for free or low cost tools, courses, and support system. Right? That is important. So the 6 points that help us to just achieve or that help us to develop a resourcefulness is what? Continuously improving, right? Continuously improving yourself, right? Continuously seeking way to improve your resourcefulness. Stay curious and open mind. Be curious and open mind. The 8 points that help us to become resourcefulness is what? Practice gratitude. Having good gratitude. The first steps that help us to have a good gratitude is what? First, having a gratitude journal, right? Having a gratitude journal. That means you have to start a daily gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you are grateful for each day. Maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe 15, just things that you are proud of, that you are grateful for, right? So the second step that help us to practice and develop gratitude is what? Express appreciation to yourself and to the things that you already have, only what you got. That means you just regularly expressing appreciation to others and thank people for their support and kindness. That's really very crucial, right? The third point that help us to have a good gratitude or to practice gratitude is positive focus. Positive focus. That means having a positive focus. That means shift your focus to positive experience and achievements. Reflect on what you have accomplished, right? You have to reflect on what you have accomplished. That's really important. The 4 points that help us to develop gratitude is what? Mindfulness, right? Being mindful. That means practice mindful to stay present and appreciate the moment and engage fully in your activities, right? So that's very crucial, being present, being mindfulness, right? The 5th point that help us develop a gratitude or habit is what? Gratitude ritual. That means incorporate gratitude rituals into your routines, such as maybe saying a gratitude prayer or meditation, right? So the other point that help us to develop gratitude is what? Share gratitude to other people. By sharing the gratitude that you have. That means you have to share your gratitude practice with others. Maybe you have to may encourage them to join you in cultivating an attitude to gratitude, right? That is so. The 9 takeaways that we take from this book is what? Condition yourself for success. Conditioning yourself for success, right? That means you have to identify key habits. That means condition yourself for success means the first is how you are going to condition yourself for success. The first one is identifying key habits. Identify the key habits that you have, right? Identify habits that ritual that support your goals. You have to focus on those that have the most impact, right? And also second is what? Create routines, right? Creating a routine, right? And that means you have to develop just daily routines that incorporates these habits, and you have to make them a negotiable part of your day, right? So the third point that help us to continue yourself for success is what? Consistency. Being consistent, right? That means practice these habits consistently. Repetition helps solidify them into your routines, right? So repetition helps to solidify into your routines. So the 4th point that help us to continue yourself for success is positive reinforcement, right? Positive reinforcement. That means reward yourself for maintaining empowering habits, right? So positive reinforcement strengthens new behaviors, right? Right? Positive reinforcement is really important skill, really important behaviors that you need to develop, right? So the 5th point that helps to just continue yourself for success or for a positive awareness is what? Habit stacking. How we're gonna just stack habits, right? Stack new habits onto existing ones, right? This makes it easier to integrate them into what your routines, right? Stacking your habits. That's really important. The 6 steps that help us to just continue yourself for success is what? Reflect and adjust, right? Reflecting and adjusting. That means regular review your habits and routines. Make adjustable as needed to stay aligned with your goals, right? That is. So these are the 6 points that help us to just continue yourself for success, right? So the 10 takeaways that we need to take from this book is never stop learning. Never stop learning. How we are just going to develop to learn all the time, all day long. The first step that help us to develop this skill is what? Being curious, right? Being eager, right? That means you have to cultivate a mindset of curiosity, ask questions and seek new knowledge in various areas, right? You may ask a bunch of questions with people's, all right, whatever the questions that you like to ask, and you have to read books. Maybe you may be attending seminars, right? Always being curious to study, to learn something new in every day. That's really important. So the second point that help us to develop learning habit is what? Learning plan. Having a plan to learn. That means creating a learning plan that includes books, maybe courses, workshops and other educational resources, right? So the third points that help us to always learn is what? Set learning goals. Having a goal to learn, right? Maybe as a night or as a morning, you have to have a goal to learn. You have to give it time to learn some new thing from the book, from the seminar, from workshop, from this the people you meet, right? So that means set specific learning goals, focus on acquiring skill and knowledge that align with your personal and professional growth, right? So the fourth points that help us to just develop a learning skill is what? Daily learning. All day try to give some time, set aside a time to learn new thing, right? Daily learning. That means dedicated time each day to learn, right? Even 50 to 30 minutes of reading or maybe studying can make a significant difference in your life, right? So always set aside a specific time to learn, right? The fifth point that help us to develop learning habit is what? Apply knowledge. Apply the knowledge that you learn. That means apply what you learn in practical way. That means practice new skill, integrate knowledge into your life. That's really important, right? So the sixth point or that help us to always be curious to learn is what? Share learning. Share what you have learned, right? With your friend, with societies that you meet with in your organization, maybe, right? With your friend, right? Share your learning journey with others. Teaching and discussing new concepts reinforce your understanding and help others grow, right? So by just following this detailed step, you can effectively integrate this key lesson from the weekends again with in your daily life, leading to personal and maybe a societal change, right? So this is the 10 takeaways that we take from the book Awakenings Again written by Toby Robbins. So thank you for watching this video till the end.